Good afternoon. This is the first occasion in over 5.5 years that I personally speak to the media.
Ian McGrail reflected on his 36 years of loyal service to Gibraltar, only to be muscled out, he said, in the most grossly improper fashion.
As you will no doubt know, the journey has not been a smooth one. Indeed, it has been a very bumpy road, complete with many sharp twists and turns. Throughout this journey, and as from as early as the 29th of May 2020, I have maintained a consistent and honest account of the flagrant abuse of processes I was subjected to, seeded with, I dare say, a great deal of malice. I was muscled out from post in the most grossly improper fashion, after having devoted nearly 36 years of loyal service to Gibraltar and the Crown. My reputation and dignity were at stake, and many of you will no doubt accept that this is a very important matter for any person, more so when one knows they are being treated in the most unfair and unlawful of ways. I am very pleased, in fact extremely pleased, that having gone through the copious amounts of evidence, Sir Peter Openshaw has ruled in my favour. Equally, I humbly respect the criticisms he ruled on that concerned me. I am pleased and relieved that the report has vindicated all of them. I thank the chairman and the whole inquiry team for their diligence. When I took up office as Commissioner of Police, this was certainly not the type of legacy that I would have imagined would mark my service in the RGP as its Commissioner. However, the findings made by Sir Peter Openshaw should be strongly considered as an important legacy which inherently protects the independence of the police going forwards under the Gibraltar Constitution. It is necessary for me to publicly thank those who in many ways have supported me through this journey. At the top of that list is my family. And it is a big family. They have been resolute and steadfast in their support. I love you all.
Mr McGrail highlighted some of Sir Peter Openshaw's strongest criticisms levelled against the Chief Minister and the allegations that had been made against him during the inquiry. An emotional Ian McGrail thanked his legal team and the local media.
This inquiry was about finding the truth, based on facts. I walked that truth. And to walk with the truth is like walking with a companion that cannot betray you. Thank you.
Charles Gomez was next to speak. He recalled the day in May 2020 when the then Police Commissioner Ian McGrail walked into his office with what he described as a shockingly deficient and incompetently drafted letter from the police authority.
In many decades of legal practice, I have never seen or read anything like it, and I understood at once that we were witnessing an episode of singular gravity. I feared, in the midst of an event that would come to be recorded as among the most ignominious episodes in Gibraltar's modern constitutional history, and a stain on our constitutional system and the rule of law in this city. The casual brutality of the process, now revealed to have been undertaken at the direction of the Chief Minister, by which the Crown's principal law enforcement officer was marked for destruction, had something dark and surreal about it. It was said during the oral hearings that Mr. McGrail was like a bull in a china shop. That was a shameful, lazy caricature. What we saw was a public servant prepared to defend the principles by which he had lived, and the oath he had sworn to our people of Gibraltar and to the Crown. Yet it has been a privilege to support him in this battle, and to observe at close quarters a measure of courage that cannot be conferred by office nor removed by decree. I wonder whether those in high office, so swift to hunt like a pack against a single individual, have paused even fleetingly to reflect upon their behaviour. The Chief Minister, the then interim Governor, and the Chairman of the GPA appeared singularly incurious as to the constitutional consequences of their actions. If the Commission of the Royal Gibraltar Police can be dealt with in this fashion, the citizens of Gibraltar may reasonably ask what protections remained for them should they fall foul of the powerful. The feeding frenzy that followed was unseemly, though not unfamiliar to students of political history. Rewards, it seems, were available for enthusiasm in the monstering of Ian McGrail, but not for judgment or adherence to fairness. This has been, by any fair measure, a shameful episode for Gibraltar, redeemed only by the inquiry report. In a jurisdiction where honours, gongs and titles are dispensed with notable abandon, it may be unrealistic to expect formal recognition for Mr. McGrail's courage. Yet recognition is nonetheless due. He has demonstrated that even the most burnished statues may rest upon feet of clay, and that for that service to truth, to principle, and to the constitutional order, Gibraltar owes Ian McGrail a debt of gratitude, to him and to his family. I hope that we will not be found wanting.
Mr McGrail's UK lawyer Adam Wagner KC joined the press conference by video link, first paying tribute to his client.
This report is a total vindication of Ian McGrail. There's no better sign of this than the fact that Sir Peter Openshaw's findings reflect almost precisely the allegations which Ian McGrail made as far back as May 2020. He said then that the Chief Minister had made grossly inappropriate interventions in a live criminal investigation. He said the Gibraltar Police Authority process was totally unfair and unlawful. He said the real reason why he was being pushed out, the Op Delhi criminal investigation into James Levy, the lead partner of Hassan's, was being deliberately concealed. That was over 5 years ago. Today, the public will see that Sir Peter Openshaw's report has completely vindicated what Mr McGrail said back in 2020. It has also gone further, because the inquiry process has exposed the misconduct which was going on behind closed doors and which Ian McGrail always suspected but could not at that time prove. Sir Peter Openshaw's report has exposed that the Chief Minister made a series of grossly improper and sinister interventions to interfere in a live criminal investigation. Grossly improper and sinister are Sir Peter Openshaw's words, which he uses again and again. When Mr McGrail approached the British Foreign Office's man on the ground with, quote, extremely serious allegations of political interference in an ongoing police investigation, rather than investigating, he proceeded with a completely unfair and expedited process to remove Mr McGrail. The Foreign Office, in my view, therefore deserved to share some of the shame of what happened. And what about the allegations of dishonesty made so consistently by the government parties? Entirely dismissed. Ian McGrail did not lie. That's a quote from the report. What happens next? There are many who owe Ian McGrail a very significant apology, though, disgracefully, none has come forward to do so. I only hope that he receives the recognition he deserves from the honourable Gibraltar public who have supported him throughout, along with his legal team. Even now, even despite an exhaustive 3.5-year process undertaken by a High Court judge and a 706-page report, the Chief Minister and the Government of Gibraltar extraordinarily appear to be attempting to escape accountability. This is not just dishonourable, it's also dangerous, because no lessons can be learned until they take responsibility for what happened. And in that respect, I can say it no better than Sir Peter Openshaw does at paragraph 11.87 of the report. Quote, that Mr. Picardo still seeks to defend his actions, that he thinks he was within his rights, is not mitigation. Indeed, it makes it much worse. Nobody in power stood up to protect Mr. McGrail from the grossly improper and sinister behaviour which should have been obvious to everyone. Not the Foreign Office, not the Gibraltar Police Authority, not the Attorney General.
Mr. McGrail, I would like to ask you two questions. First of all, if I may, I know that you didn't hear the Chief Minister's statement, but he said that Mr. Sir Peter Openshaw's report completely exonerated the government. So I'd like your comment on that. And the second thing I'd like to ask you is that you said in your statement that Sir Peter Openshaw has ruled in your favour. However, he has declined to recommend either an apology or compensation. So I'd like you to comment on that as well, please.
I wholeheartedly accept and respect the findings of Sir Peter Openshaw. Like you rightly point out, I am not going to comment on the Chief Minister's address to Gibraltar and reiterate what my counsel has said, that the report speaks for itself. It's very eloquently written and in very plain language. And then let the Gibraltar public make their own conclusions.
Mr. Gomez, any disappointment? I'm sure there is, that there's no apology or recommendation for compensation.
Well, professionally, I would have to say yes. Personally, I say no, because I didn't expect anything better from the people currently in power in Gibraltar. So it was totally predictable to me that there would be no sense of self-inquiry, self-reflection.
I think the question is slightly different, though. And I think, why do you think, all of you, I addressed this question to all of you, why do you think Sir Peter Openshaw didn't recommend an apology and or redress, given everything that you've said there?
Yeah, you would have to ask him. The purpose of an inquiry is to delve into a certain set of facts and come to certain conclusions on those facts. The inquiry is not a court of law. I mean, courts of law order parties to do this or that. So it was not necessarily a matter for an inquiry to reflect on. And he decided not to. And that, as far as we're concerned, is fine.
Okay. And I have one other question, if I may. Given what you've set out that is contained in the report, what do you think should happen as a result of these findings?
Well, politically, you mean, or
well,
we can't comment on what should happen politically, but I suggest that in similar circumstances, in other countries perhaps, and maybe, who knows, in this country, some political responsibility will be taken. And by political responsibility, we could consider an apology, which the Chief Minister has given the public of Gibraltar, or given the sheer seriousness of the allegations found to have been justified against the Chief Minister of improper interference in live criminal investigation, using a process which was defective, unfair and unlawful. I wonder whether resignation might be the way to proceed.
Mr. McGrail, one final question to you. This has obviously taken an emotional toll. We heard your statement was very emotional. My question to you is, I know you've just said that you want to focus on the festive season, but we do know that the Chief Minister is going to be taking this to Parliament. He's also said he's going to take some legal advice about some of the comments made for him. So this story is not going to go away at the moment. For you, Mr. McGrail, where do you go from here?
I want to return to what I regard as normality as soon as possible. Take up things that I enjoyed doing before, which I had to park to one side because of the inquiry, and practically live a normal life. I think I've done everything that I needed to do for the truth to come out, and now, like Mr. Gomez alludes to, the line has to be drawn, and the report is very clear. I go back to that. The report is evidently very clear.
The press conference may be over, but the debate over Sir Peter Openshaw's findings looks set to continue well into the new year.